In the last lecture, we discussed the theory about the distribution of oceans and continents. And the first theory was continental drift theory, which was given by the Alfred Wegener in 1992. 1912. So this theory was given by the Alfred Wegener, in which we discussed that all the continents was a single landmass uh, about 250 million years ago, and that landmass was called Pangaea. It was surrounded by all the sides by a oceanic body that is called Panthalassa by the Wagner. Now, what he suggested that these single landmass began to split near about 200 million years ago, and slowly and gradually the continent got splitted from one another. And this remarkable match can be seen in the present scenario also. If we merge the South America in the Africa, the Brazil bulge could be very easily fitted in the Ghana coast of Africa. So there are some evidences which were given by the Wegener to prove his theory. First was the jigsaw fate, and the other were related to the fossils of animals and plants. Right. So this was the first theory given by him about this. Now the second, because basically you saw that the evidences which were provided by the Wagner, they belong to the continental crust. They belong to the plants and animals which were found on the continents, right? So there is basically this theory is based upon the continental crust. But after the World War II, that was a period when the new information to geological literature came, particularly the information collected from the ocean floor. After post World War II, there was the information which is collected from the ocean floor by its mapping and which help us to study about the distribution of oceans and continents. Firstly, convectional current theory. It is proposed by Arthur Holmes in 1930s, and it discussed the possibility of convectional currents operating in the mantle portion. First of all, what is convectional currents? See, when there is a difference between the temperature, right? It occurs when there is a difference between the temperature of the material. What would happen? Suppose this is high temperature material. It is in the state of high temperature, right? Here above it there is low temperature. What would happen when this material came into the contact of high temperature? It will become less dense, right? So it will become lighter and begin to expand, and it will expand, so it will rise up, correct? Because the material, when the material came into the contact of high temperature, it will begin to boil. It will be low dense material and begin to expand. It will rise up. When it will rise up, here is the low temperature. When it come to the contact of low temperature, it began to cold and became high dense material, right? So density of this material will be higher. Now what would happen? Because of the high density, it will begin to sink down, because the material carry the high weight. because of high density, it began to sink down. Again, when it came into the high temperature inside the earth, it again boiled, again its density will become low and it will rise up. So this process will going on. The material from the below will rise towards the earth's surface, and when it came into the low temperature, it will begin to sink down. Again and again this process is going on, which is known as convectional current. Right, now here you can see the more example of convectional currents. Same convectional currents are produced in the earth, interior of the earth, right, where the magma, in the mantle portion, the magma is boiling. It is in the contact of high temperature. How the convectional current produces? See, see the process of convectional currents, how the plates move, how the convectional current generate the movement of plates. The plates are the different slabs of earth which are moving the convectional current produced by magma inside the. Here you can see the magma moving apart from each other in opposite direction. Similarly, the step also moves. This is the transformation boundary of the two plates. When the one plate is sinking down, and when it sinks down, it also reaches the high temperature and form the molten magma. This molten magma came on the surface to the bottom. Surface of the earth, right? So these are the process of convectional currents, how the convectional currents generate inside the earth. Because the magma is boiling, it is moving in different directions. Same, the earth crust is lying above the mantle portion, so they are also keep on moving, whether they are keeping from apart from each other, they are moving towards each other, they are transforming to each other. In the three types they are moving. Clear? So that's why it suggested that due to the convectional currents, the plates are moving. These plates are our continents, so these continents are also moving. Correct? The now the next is mapping of the ocean floor. Mapping of the ocean floor post World War II, that was a period which provided a detailed picture of the ocean relief and indicated the existence of submerged relief features. Right, submerged relief features. Ocean floor to have geographical features like on the surface of the earth. As on the surface of the earth, we have mountains, we have plain area, we have trenches, right? Similarly, it is also found in the ocean floors, right? So post World War, when we mapped the ocean floor, we see the deep trenches as well as the mountain ranges on the ocean floor, right? So they are mostly located closer to the continental margins. What do you mean by continent margins? We will discuss it later, right? So there is a volcanic eruptions also which formed the mid-oceanic ridge. Mid-oceanic ridge, here the ridge word is used for the mountains in the ocean floor, right? The elevation portion, the elevated portion on the surface of the earth is called mountain. Similarly, in the ocean, the elevated portion is called ridge. right? So these ridges are found almost in every ocean in the middle, because the middle portion of ocean is the jointing point of two slabs, correct? So where it is joint in the two slabs, suppose one is this and second is it, right? So there is a joint. So this joint is weaker portion and the volcanic eruptions took place, correct? So this, when these volcanic eruptions took place, the lava came on the surface of the ocean floor, and slowly and gradually it began to solidify and it forms the ridges, correct? How the ridges formed, now you are able to understand. Now what happened when the scientists observed that the oceanic crust are much younger than the continental crust, right? So the continental crust are older than the oceanic crust, but rocks on either side of the crest of oceanic ridge having equidistant location and found to have remarkable similarities both in terms of their constituents and their age. Suppose this is oceanic ridge. It is dividing the ocean into two parts. Now, what the scientists observed that the rocks found here and here, they are of both, they both are of same age, right? Same material is found in either side of the ridges, right? So it suggested that the either side of the ridges are formed at the same age by the same material, correct? Now come to the ocean floor configuration. In the next chapters, we have the unit oceans, in which we discuss the oceanic floor in very deeply. But for your information regarding this chapter, we will consider the three parts of oceanic floor, which is first is continental margins. Continental margins, suppose it is a continent, and here the ocean started, correct? So this is ocean starting. So here is a oceanic crust. So uh, no doubt there will be a joining part of oceanic crust and continental crust. This is continental crust and this is oceanic crust. So there is a joining point of continents and ocean, that is called continental margin, which constitute continental shelf, continental slope, and continental rise and deep oceanic trenches. Clear? But we will discuss all these features in our next chapter, because they are not so much important regarding this chapter to be discussed in detail. First of all, you have to understand that the continents have a joining point with the oceanic crust, that is called continental margin. Second is a basal plain, like our northern plain area. There is a plain area also in at the oceanic floor. As I saw you, that is continent, that is ocean. So after the continental margin, there is a plain area at the oceanic floor, that is called abyssal plains, right? And in the middle of the ocean floor, there is a joint of another plate, because one more thing, suppose here is a continent, there is a ocean. On the second side there is a continent, and it is also connected with the ocean, both the sides continents. So this is one plate and this is second plate, and it is its joining plate, right? So all the features found in this region as well as in this region also: continental margin, abyssal plain, continental margin, abyssal plain, and in the middle it is a joining point of these two slabs, right? These two slabs. So what happened from the oceanic crust, because it is a joining point, the lava came. The lava came, and as I told you, that earth, right? First type of mid-oceanic ridge is found, which is called longest mountain change on the surface of the earth in Atlantic Ocean from north to south pole, right? So these are um, also known as volcanoes as mid-oceanic volcanoes, right? The next one is distribution of earthquakes and volcanoes. Distribution of earthquakes and volcanoes also help to understand the theory of sea floor spreading. Before discuss the earthquakes and volcanoes, as I told you again and again, one thing is repeatedly that volcanoes and earthquakes occurs where there is a weaker section of the crust, right? Whether it is continental crust, whether it is oceanic crust, if there is any weaker section, the volcanoes occur, right? And this weaker section mainly are the places where the continents and oceanic plates merge. In the map you can see, let's focus on this map. First of all देखिए, here is Europe and Asia. Similarly, this is Asia, this is Europe and some part of Asia. It is North America, this is South America, this continent is Africa, this is Australia, right? Now this is Pacific Ocean between Asia and North America and South American continents, and this ocean is called Atlantic Ocean, which lies between Americas, Europe and Africa, right? Here you can see the border of continents and oceans, this one and this one, right? Either side of the ocean, the border where the continents and ocean are merging, there is black dots. Black dots are depicting the hot spots of volcanoes where the frequently volcanoes erupted. Similarly, in the middle of the ocean, there are black dots where the volcanoes erupt. And in the lighter dots line is lying from north to south in the S shape in the Atlantic Ocean. This one, right? So this is the mid-Atlantic ridge. And the light dotting are depicting the volcanic eruptions. So most of the volcanic and earthquakes occurred at the margins of the continents and within the ridges. Correct? Now come to the concept volcanoes. So most of the hotspot of earthquakes and volcanoes lies and parallel to the coastlines as well as in the middle of the oceans. Now what is the concept of sea floor spreading? Sea floor spreading, it provides a considerable information that was not available at the time of Wagner and put forth his concept of continental drift. How the continental drifts by the sea floor spreading. According to this theory, the continent drifted just because of the sea floor spreading. Our sea floor is spreading. How the sea floor is spreading? It was realized that all along the mid-oceanic ridges, volcanic eruptions are common, and then they bring huge amount of lava to the surface. See, in the Atlantic Ocean, there is volcanic eruptions are taking place, right? When they erupt, they took a huge part of lava, right? So when the lava will begin to solidify, it will take more space, correct? when like water, if you will fill the water in a bottle, right, and place it into the refrigerator, after some time it will convert into the ice, but the bottle will be deformed because there is no space for the ice, because when the water changes into the ice form it became more dense, it required more space. Similarly, when the lava came on the surface of the earth, it is in liquid form. When it became solidified, it takes more space. To taking more space, it will push the either sides, right? Now again volcanic eruption took place, more lava will come, it became solidified, again it will push the either side of the oceans. By this pushing, suppose this is pushing this side and this side, so that's why when the crust will be pushed on the other sides, the continents will be drifted, right? So by this theory, according to this theory, because just of the volcanic eruptions took place and it began to solidify, it pushes the continental crust on the either sides. That's why we saw that the oceanic crust is more younger than the continental crust. Age of oceanic crust is only 200 million years ago, while the continental crust are old as 3200 million years ago, right? So similarly, the sediments on the ocean floor are very thin, while the sediments found on the continents, they are very thick and old, correct? So because continent have much older than the oceans, that's why the sediments thickness is more on the continents than the oceanic floor. Deep trenches have deep seated earthquake occurrence, while in the mid-oceanic region areas the quake foci have shallow depths. When the earthquakes took place on the oceanic crust, what happens? Suppose this is oceanic crust, earthquake occurs. Due to the earthquakes, this portion could be lower, right? So this becomes a trench, जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं, खाई, right? So the some part of the oceanic crust will be thrust and it form the trenches. So these facts and a detailed analysis of magnetic properties of the rocks on either sides of the mid-oceanic ridge led Hess to propose his hypothesis known as the sea floor spreading, because on the either side the rocks are of same age, they have same magnetic properties, they have same material. That's why the Hess suggested that the sea floor spreading theory is the major cause of continent drift. Now students, if you have any doubt you can ask. Supriya, here we have covered the sea floor spreading theory. The next theory, plate tectonic, we will discuss it in our next lecture. If you have any doubt you can ask now. In this theory, basically Harry has suggested that the continents are drifting due to the spreading of the oceanic floor, and the oceanic floor is spreading due to the continuous volcanic eruptions within the ridges. Correct? So Supriya, have you understood? If you have understood, then raise your hand. Supriya, are you there? If you have any doubt, you can ask.